Hey, what's up? It's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing. Now this video right here is a compilation of several videos that help make up the course that you're taking right now. Now to help you navigate through everything, I've provided timestamps down below in the description, so I recommend going, check out those timestamps, watching what's relevant to you. Let's get into it. In this section of the course, we're going to start talking about audiences. Now, we will get into more like audience strategy later on when we talk about setting up a campaign, but I wanted to cover the various audiences that are available to you, so that way you can kind of start thinking about audiences and kind of understand how it's all going to fit together. So I felt like this is a good place to talk about audiences so you get a feel for how they work, and then later on when we talk about strategy, you'll know about audiences already and it'll make things easier. Anyway, in this video, we're going to go ahead and set up our audience sources. So we're in Google Ads right now, and we're going to go to Tools and Settings, and we want to go to Audience Manager, and then we have to go ahead and set up an audience source. So let's click on that option here, and we wait for it to load. All right, so we already got YouTube, so that's awesome. When we linked our account, it looks like it brought over the audience source, so we're good there. But let's go ahead and also do the Google Ads tag, set up tag. And it gives us a couple options here. We want this first one. Only collect general website visit data to show ads to your website visitors. So that's what we want. We don't need data on specific actions at this point in time. So this broad one's the good one for our purposes. And then we have something about restricted data processing for California users. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I don't know if that means if I'm in California or people that are in California. I don't know. I'm going to leave it unchecked. I've never seen that before, and I've never checked it before, so I'm going to ignore it. And then we have advanced options. I'm going to leave that unchecked because I can't check it. So anyway, save and continue. And then it wants us to install a tag. We've already installed the tag when we set up our code, right? We added this little snippet to our pixel, and we made our master pixel. So we're good there. We've already done all that. Now we're done. And wait for it to load again. And just like that, we have our Google Ads tag as an available audience source to us, so that's awesome. The next thing we want to go ahead and do is Google Analytics. So let's go ahead and set that up as well, and continue. And we want to select this broad option like we did on the other one with the Google Ads tag. And then we have to select the Google Analytics view, select the appropriate one, boom, 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 and save and continue, and done. And so there we go. We now have our 3 audience sources. If you have other ones that might be applicable, like if you have an app in the Google Play Store or something like that, then you could go ahead and connect them. But this is all we need for our purposes in this course, and that's it for this video. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the training. Real quick, I have a special offer that I want to present to you where you can get a digital copy of my book as well as an audio copy. Plus, I'm giving away 20 pre-written emails that make your email writing a piece of cake. And finally, I have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures for a small business, and it includes training on how to actually set up the funnel. If you're interested in that, plus several other bonuses, link in the description down below, or there'll be a link in the little box up above here. So if you're interested, check it out. Back to the training. In this video, we're going to discuss Google Ads remarketing audiences. And again, this is just kind of like an overview video of how to set up these audiences and where to go and what to click on and things like that. Again, we'll cover strategy when we talk about campaign strategy, because audiences, of course, and who you're targeting is critically important to the success of your advertising efforts. But I wanted to give you an overview before we get into the strategy. So let's go ahead and talk about remarketing audiences. And I've mentioned this before, but remarketing equals retargeting. Google calls it remarketing, but same thing as retargeting. Basically, these are audiences of people that have engaged with your business in some sort of way, shape, or form, whether they went to your website or bought something or opted in for something, or they watched a video on YouTube, right? So anybody that's engaged with you before can go into a remarketing list. So let's come up to Tools and Settings and Audience Manager. And what we want to do is come over to Remarketing right here at the very top. In the next video, or one of the follow-on videos, we'll talk about custom audiences. But we're doing remarketing now, and we're right here. And we want to create a remarketing list. And so here's our options. We have website visitors, app users, YouTube users, customer list, and then custom combination. And we're just going to go through these options real quick in this video, basically. All right, let's go to website visitors. So this is pretty self-explanatory, right? This is going to create a remarketing list of people that have visited your website. So here are the options we have. So visitors of a page, visitors of a page who also visited another page, visitors of a page who did not visit another page, visitors of a page during specific dates, visitors of a page with specific tags. So you see there's a bunch of different options here. And I want to point out real quick, when we're setting up our campaigns and our targeting within those campaigns, we can include and exclude various audiences when we're setting up our campaigns. So by using inclusions and exclusions when you're setting up your targeting, you can create even more like targeting options, right? That's what I was trying to say. So anyway, this is all pretty self-explanatory. So let's just go with visitors of a page. And then moving on down here, we have another option. So we can match any rule group or match every rule group. And if you notice, basically it just changed this from an and to an or and vice versa. So of course, you can do whatever makes sense for the audience you're trying to create, but it's pretty, self-explanatory, right? So page URL, refer URL, or event, so you can create it based off of those options there. So page URL, contains, equals, starts with, ends with, does not contain, does not equal, does not start with, does not end with. So self-explanatory stuff. So let's say I want to do for the sales funnel book. That's what I want to go ahead and target people that have visited my sales funnel book page. Now it gives you an audience size list, and usually I think if it's under 1,000 people, like it just says less than 1,000 people, or in my case, I just set up my pixel and my cookie and everything, and I haven't had traffic going through it. So I have a 0 here, and this could be okay, right? Now, if I had my pixel installed on my website for a long time and it was still saying 0, then something's probably funky. Either my pixel's not working, which isn't good, obviously, or something over here, I must have clicked the wrong box, or I used the and when I should have used the or something like that, right? So hopefully you see something there, or you can explain why you have 0. All right, moving on down here. So we have pre-fill options. So we can pre-fill the list with people who match the rules within the past 30 days. So this is pretty handy. Let's say you put the pixel on your website, and then 2 weeks later, you decide that you want to go ahead and create an audience of people that have been to the sales funnel book page. And basically what this option lets you do is go back in time and get those people that visited the page in the last 2 weeks and add them to this list. So that's pretty handy. And that way you're not starting with a list from scratch. Now, if you do want to start with a list from scratch, you can just select this option right here. Start with an empty list, and of course, then starting from whenever you created the audience till whatever your time frame is, you'll have those people on your list. Anyway, I'm going to go back in time to add people. Membership duration, so enter the number of days someone stays in this audience. So, depending on your strategy, it could be 1 day, it could be up to 540 days. So, just depends. I'll go 7 days right here. And then description, so if you want to do a detailed description about this list, you could go ahead and add it here, but it's optional. And then, of course, we got to name it. So I'll just say visited a sales funnel book sales page, and then 7 days. All right, so that's my audience name. And then I just hit create audience. And boom, just like that, I have a remarketing audience of people that landed on my sales funnel book sales page. So pretty cool stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and create another audience. So click the plus button, and we have app users. So if you have an app and you're connecting it to Google Ads, then you can go through this process here and connect it. I'm not familiar with this process, but if you have an app, hopefully you can understand based off of these options here. They're simple options like all users of an app. So that's pretty self-explanatory what that means, or took specific actions within an app. So if you have an app, I assume you know how to integrate it with Google Ads and select the appropriate options. So moving back out here, we'll go to YouTube users. So of course it's going to be pretty popular because we're creating YouTube ads, and we want to target people that are browsing our YouTube channel, browsing our YouTube videos, YouTube ads, all that stuff. So list members, again, we have viewed any video from a channel. So if you have a channel and you have people watching it organically or paid watchers, like via ads, then you can go ahead and add them to a list. Viewed certain videos. So if you have like different categories of videos, for example, I have like Facebook videos, YouTube videos, ClickFunnels videos, active campaign videos. So I can create custom remarketing audiences for people that watch, Facebook ad videos. And then I have a list of people that like Facebook ad stuff. So you can see how that kind of works. Viewed any video as an ad from a channel, viewed certain videos as ads. subscribed to a channel, visited a channel, liked any video from a channel, edited any video from a channel to a playlist, shared any video from a channel. So all self-explanatory options. I'm just gonna do viewed any video from a channel. I'm gonna go ahead and select this viewed certain videos option real quick. And then you gotta go ahead and select your YouTube channel, and we've already integrated it, so it popped up here. And then you notice that it says I have 0 videos, and that's because I have 0 videos that are public right now, but I did go ahead and upload one just for this demonstration purposes, and it's a private video, so I can go ahead and grab this link right here, copy it, and I can paste it here. And there's my video, so I can select that option. You can add multiple videos if you want to as well, and that's how you go ahead and create a list of people that watch certain videos. Makes sense, right? All right, same pre-fill type options. So last 30 days, start with empty list. Select what's relevant, number of days. All right, very cool. Membership duration, and then watched, and scroll on down here, and I'll hit create. And so there we go. We have another custom remarketing audience. So pretty simple stuff. We also have customer list right here. So this is only available for individuals that have spent, I think, $50,000 or more on ads. And we can look at it right here. And yeah, so you have to have more than 50,000 lifetime spend in order to unlock this privilege. But obviously it could be very powerful. I mean, you just take your list, your email list or your customer list, and you can upload it into Google Ads here and then create a list of people that, have bought stuff or are on a list. So that's pretty handy. But of course you do have to meet their policies and their requirements, which include spending $50,000 before you can unlock it. So not everyone's gonna have access to that, at least not for a while. And then we do have custom combination, which could be kind of cool. You could, come up with some different options. So if they've, visited the sales funnel book page, and then they've watched this video right here, and we can make this an and statement. So they have had to have done both of these things: visited the sales funnel book sales page and watch a sales funnel vault ad. And you can get more creative by adding more options down here. So you can do a whole lot of different stuff. And then throw in the fact that when you're creating your targeting options, you can add inclusions and exclusions. So you can target like anyone based off of anything that they've done in any sort of situation. Now you probably won't do that because it gets very complicated and convoluted and all that type of stuff. But I just wanted to show you that it is out here. And if you do have a unique situation where you need to combine things, then this is how you could go ahead and do it. And that's pretty much it for this video. We went through the different remarketing audience options. It's pretty simple, self-explanatory stuff. The hard part was getting the pixel like on your properties and firing properly. But then once you have that, creating these audiences is a piece of cake. In this video, we're gonna go ahead and talk about custom affinity and custom intent audiences. So let's get into it. Tools and settings, and go to Audience Manager. And then up at the top here, we did remarketing in the last video. In this video, we're doing custom audiences. So click that, and then click the plus button here, and then you see custom affinity and custom intent. Alrighty, so I have a quick update here. Of course, Google changed things as soon as I launched this course. So there's no longer a custom affinity audiences available, so you can ignore that portion. But there are still custom intent audiences. So you'll see an option like this when you log in. So people with any of these interests or purchase intentions, people who search for any of these terms on Google. My recommendation, go with people that search for any of these terms on Google. You'll see I'm about to cover it in the custom intent audiences, and I still recommend you go with this method because it definitely generates better results. So that's the update. Back to the video. Now both of these audience types are for scaling. They create big, broad audiences. Now I also want to point out that we can also target people with keywords. And keywords are great because we can optimize the keywords. We can see which keywords are performing, which aren't performing, increase budgets on keywords or decrease budgets on keywords. So we can do a lot of different stuff with keywords, whereas these two different audiences, they're big, broad audiences, and they're used more for scaling and kind of broadening your reach. Now, custom affinity audiences are for like massive scaling. Like it's going to create really, really big audiences, like millions and millions of people. Custom intent audiences are a little bit more honed in and more specific. So we will likely use custom intent audiences in our marketing efforts, whereas custom affinity is for like big brands, like, I don't know, Target or Walmart or something like that. A big brand with a massive budget and they want massive amount of scale. they're probably going with custom affinity. For us small business owners, we'll go with custom intent sometimes, and we'd also go with keywords, which again, I'll show you in another video. But I want to show you these options because I want to teach you as much as I can about running YouTube ads. So here we are, custom affinity audience. So what we need to go ahead and do is define your audience by adding relevant interests, URLs, places, or apps. So let's go ahead and, I don't know, we'll just do clickfunnels.com, digitalmarketer.com, leadpages.com, activecampaign.com. And then maybe we'll throw in a couple interests while we're here. So we can throw in sales, funnels, paid advertising, digital marketing, and so on. So you just add some interests, some URLs. You could also add places and apps if you want to as well. Come over here, click Get Estimate, and let's see what pops up. So as you can see, our weekly impressions are between 10 billion to 1 trillion. So that's what I'm saying about these custom affinity audiences. They're massive. And they're for big businesses looking to reach, the entire population of the world or something like that. Obviously, we see our topics, so marketing, advertising and marketing, business and industrial. So, that seems about right. We can look at our demographic information. And so, between 18 and like 44, that sounds about right. Of course, there's a lot of unknowns because, Google doesn't know ages as well as like Facebook knows ages. The gender breakdown, so obviously mostly males, which seems accurate. So all this stuff seems accurate and like we're kind of targeting the right people, but again, it's massive. It's very hard to optimize this large of an audience, right? But anyway, let's go ahead and do custom affinity audience, and I'll call it digital marketing, and we'll go ahead and create. And now let's go ahead and make a custom intent audience as well. Now we will be using a custom intent audience when we set up our campaign together because intent is a lot more specific than affinity. Like intent shows like they've searched for certain keywords and performed certain actions, and like the intent is there. And so it makes a pretty good large audience, but it's more specific than an affinity audience. So anyway, let's go ahead and set it up. So come in here to custom intent, and I'll call it CI for custom intent and digital marketing. All right, now we have two options here: include people based on their in-market keywords and Google search terms. Now, if we're running YouTube ads, there's a big difference here. Okay, so pay attention if you're running YouTube ads, which I assume you are because you're taking a YouTube course, and it is June 1st, 2020, so they might change this, but at this point in time, there's a big difference in this option here. And the difference is in-market keywords does not work for YouTube ads. It only works for display ads. So if you're doing YouTube ads, which I assume you are, you cannot select in-market keywords. Otherwise, you won't be able to select this audience. You have to use Google search terms for YouTube ads. So just want to put that out there, make sure we're crystal clear there. And now, basically, what you're doing is you're creating a list of keywords that people have typed into Google. And so this should be a pretty good audience of people, right? Because they went to Google and typed in what you're entering right here. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the same keywords that we used when setting up our custom affinity audience. So I'll just do sales funnels. So I got sales funnels, paid advertising, digital marketing, lead pages, digital marketer, click funnels, and active campaign. So those are my keywords that I'm going to roll with. Now, they do recommend that you add at least 50 keywords to get the ball rolling, and you could go ahead and use the keyword planner to get more ideas and all that type of stuff. And in real life, it'd probably be a good idea to go ahead and get those 50 keywords to make sure your audience is large enough and good enough. But for the sake of our example here, I'm just going to run with the same keywords, and I'll go ahead and hit create. And so there we go. We now have our custom intent audience. that we can go ahead and target. In this video, we're going to quickly talk about similar audiences. I just want to tell you that it's out there and kind of how it works, how it happens. So if you're familiar with Facebook advertising at all, you know that they have lookalike audiences, and this is the same concept as Facebook advertising. They call it similar audiences on Google Ads. But basically what it is it takes one of your remarketing audiences and it figures out, like what that average person on your remarketing audience looks like the types of behaviors that they have, the demographics that they have, that type of stuff. It builds like a customer avatar of the average of that remarketing list. And then it creates another list, or I guess technically a similar audience of, millions of people that look like that avatar that was created from the remarketing list. Now, I'll include a link to this article so you could go ahead and read more about it if it's interesting to you. But basically, once your remarketing list gets large enough, like I think you need at least 100 people in your remarketing audience in order for a similar audience to be created. And when you have enough people, Google is going to automatically create the similar audience for you. Like, you can't go and create a similar audience. Like, it'll just pop up one day when your remarketing list is large enough. So you can see I have a similar audience of people that have visited crazyremarketing.com in the last 14 days, and it gives you the sizes, so less than 1,000 on search, less than 1,000 on YouTube, but 50 million audience in display, and then $100,000 to $300,000 on a Gmail campaign. So anyway, I just wanted to point these out to you because these types of audiences can be a great way also to scale your advertising efforts, in addition to custom intent or even custom affinity audiences. In this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about creating custom audiences within Google Analytics and then sharing that audience with Google Ads. So quite similar to how we set up some goals inside of Google Analytics and shared those goals to our Google Ads account. We can do the same thing with audiences. Now, the reason you might want to build an audience within Google Analytics is because there's a lot of options that you can choose from, like you're about to see. So to do it, we're inside of our Google Analytics account, and we want to come down to audience definitions right here, and we can go to audiences, and now we can go to new audience, and you can go ahead and change your audience source if you want to. So I'm using the master view, which we have set up previously. And then we have our different audiences. So we have Smart List, and you can learn more about it here. We have all users, new users, returning users, users who visited a specific section of my website, users who completed a goal conversion, users who completed a transaction. So as you can tell, there's some different options within the Google Analytics platform than there is the Google Ads platform. Like, it could be handy to create a new user's audience or a returning user's audience. So that way you have, a list of people that have been to your site a couple times or only been to your site one time and so on. So there could be good reasons to create audiences in Google Analytics and share them with Google Ads because you have more power. And then I want to show you this right here. So users who visit a specific section of my website, because this is very, very flexible. We hit this little pencil icon. So now we can go way crazy. So we can get into demographic information. So you could create an audience based off of demographics. And so this could be really handy, or technology. So if you want to target, specific operating systems or browsers or screen resolution or device category. We have behaviors, so sessions, so number of times somebody has been on your website, days since last session. So maybe you want to create an audience of people that haven't been on your website in the last 7 days, and so you want to bring them back, or if they have so many transactions, or if they've been on your website for a long period of time, or something like that. Date of first session, so if the date of their first session between such and such, then you could go ahead and add them to this audience. Traffic sources, so you could go ahead and create an audience of people from whatever traffic source that you have set up. E-commerce, so if you have enhanced e-commerce on your website, so if you have like Shopify or even WooCommerce or ThriveCart or SamCart, something that integrates with the e-commerce side of Google Analytics, well, then you can go ahead and create an audience based off of this type of information. Then we have conditions, which is very, very advanced. So we have page contains, or you can click this drop down and there's hundreds of options in here, and you can do and or and all this other stuff. So you can get very, very fancy and create all sorts of crazy audiences within Google Analytics. Way more sophisticated audiences than you could possibly create within Google Ads. So if you need to get really fancy with your audience creation, Google Analytics is probably the place to go because you can really customize the heck out of it. Now, for the sake of example, I'm going to go ahead and keep it simple, and I'll just say the sales funnel book, and we have it right here. So page contains the sales funnel book, and I'll just delete this out of here. All right, so if the page contains the sales funnel book, and I'll hit apply. Now, I do have the same audience already created inside of Google Ads, but for sake of example, I'm showing you how to share your custom audience to Google Ads. So visited SF book sales page, and next step. And then audience destinations. So this is where you can go ahead and push it into your your Google Ads account, and then also you probably want to share it with your Google Analytics account as well. All right, and then publish. And we have that audience was successfully created. So if we come back over to Google Ads now, and we go to our tools and our audience manager, and we look down here, we see visited SF book sales page. And so this is the audience that we created in Google Analytics and then pushed over to Google Ads. So anyway, that is it for this video. I just wanted to show you that you can create really crazy audiences in Google Analytics and then share that audience with Google Ads. So you have even more audience options and flexibility, and you really should be able to target anyone. And that's it for this video. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed the training. Now I have a quick special offer for you. So if you want a digital copy as well as an audio copy of my book here, as well as 20 pre-written emails to make your email copywriting a piece of cake. And I also have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures of revenue for a small business. And the funnel includes a course on how to set it up and also how to actually sell that funnel to small businesses. So if you're interested in starting a digital marketing agency, that course and that funnel are an ideal option for you. And there's a bunch of other benefits and stuff, bonuses and stuff. Anyway, link in the description down below, or there's going to be a little button probably up here in the video if you're interested in checking it out. Yeah, just check it out if you're interested. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of the day.